And here we are with Lindy Seal, the lead actress and writer of the film that we've just seen, You Up. And I'm actually very delighted to get to talk to you because I think one of the main uh, comments from jury members about You Up is just how great that performance is.
Thank you so much.
So,
I
so of
appreciate
course, it would have been lovely to have your director and some other contributors here, but it really does feel like a performance piece.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
And it's
Yeah,
actually
my
fascinating,
is in
I have to
Italy
say.
right now, and my producers in Switzerland, so they're all asleep right now.
And you're Swiss?
No, I'm
No,
South African. Yeah.
South African.
Yes.
So here's a funny first thing that if we'd had an audience,
Mm.
someone probably would have gotten to say, held their hand up and said, okay, I thought that was an American actress doing a brilliant accent as the monster under the bed.
Hmm.
But that's your accent,
Yes, that's
and your nurse who can't sleep is you, like most South Africans and Australians all seem to be able to do, just doing a great American accent.
thank you. It was really fun to do those two characters, and it was somewhat of a discussion point in the development of the film because several advisors told me, do you really have to do both characters? Isn't this a little bit ambitious? Don't you think maybe recast one of the other characters? And it was one of the things that um, I heeded criticism from a lot of experts to make my film the best that I could make it, but that was the one thing I was adamant about. I really wanted to do both because that to me was the essence of what I was trying to say. That's how I wanted to tell the story. So I'm glad that that's the one thing I was finicky about and ended up doing.
I'm glad too, because and thematically, even if they thought it was difficult logistically for you to play both, thematically you had to because it's her own mind
Yes,
coming
exactly.
after her.
Yes, exactly. And it was practically a challenge. My director of photography sat me down and said, "Do you really have to do this?" And I said, "Yes, let's find a way. Let's do it." But she and my director did an incredible job of making that happen. And we had a stand-in for me, and we gave her a wig to look like me, and it turned out so well. How that worked out, and I'm so proud of the team for making that happen.
Well, go ahead and tell us the story of when you came up with the idea and what made you decide to pursue it and take it to fruition and film it.
So I first came up with this idea probably 2 years ago. I got the first initial idea for the script and started developing it, and then it was really based on personal experience and the frustration of dealing with insomnia for such a long time. And I realized, this is just something that I have to turn into a story because I can talk about it as much as I want to, but it's important to show it. It's important to um, really put material out there for people to understand what it is about and how frustrating it can be. Um, and I personally love playing characters that are a little bit chaotic, a little bit. I like playing creatures, monsters. So that's why the character of Sonia meant so much to me because it was the perfect opportunity to play something chaotic and something a little bit larger than life. And I wanted to balance that out as well by making the character of Nina a little bit more subdued, a little bit more realistic, so that they would complement each other. And not only do they represent um, a real person and the personification of her mental illness, but also two sides of a person and how we are multidimensional beings, all of us. And sometimes we think that we have to be one thing, and we fail to acknowledge that there's so many facets to us. And sometimes we are the larger than life chaotic Sonia. Sometimes we are a little bit more subdued like Nina. And both of those people live in us at the same time. And it's where the imbalance comes sometimes within us is when we don't give enough attention to either one, when we forget to feed one of them. And that's why Sonia says, I'm here because I want attention. I'm here because you have failed to acknowledge me. You have blinded yourself to the things that I'm trying to tell you. So yes, there's many ways that I wanted to there's many things that I wanted to represent by combining those two characters.
Yeah, and actually for like a little set piece that plays out like a play, you do some lovely writing there where we do get a sense of the backstory. And she talks about, you know, having been there, you know, and you didn't tell your parents about me when you were little, and but also I really like, even though you're talking about her as chaotic, and I know you submitted this one as it technically was submitted in our horror category.
Yeah.
She's very whimsical. She's a very whimsical monster and pretty charming and likable.
Thank you. The fantasy element for sure was something that I felt was important to put in there. Sonia she's fun. She's a fun time. Even though she's very annoying, she represents this kind of childlike person within us that we have to suppress once we get older, because we have to now fit in and be productive and be a contributor to a society of order. But we still have this chaotic being in us, this inner child, and that's what Sonia is. That's why she can teleport from one place to another. You see her in the bathroom and then suddenly she's in the kitchen. She can produce objects out of nowhere. She brings the crystal ball and then suddenly starts to do magic with that. She's destructive. She knocks things over. She has no respect for order. And we're so in need of order. We want to know what's going to happen. We want certainty. Sonia's here to remind us that order is an illusion.
For sure. So you sat down and wrote the piece, and I guess if someone in the audience would have already held their hand up by now and asked you if you suffer from insomnia.
I do, in fact. And I mean, it's something that while it's very inconvenient for me, it is the reason I was able to write this. So I think it is important to take the things that bother you, take your troubles, take your problems, and turn them into something of value, turn them into art. And I hope that this can be sort of I hope that other people who also suffer from insomnia can look at this and get a bit of a chuckle out of it and feel a little bit better and see that they're not alone. So yes, I do. And it's one of those things that you just have to find different ways to deal with and take it one day at a time.
I can tell you that I did. I had insomnia up through my 30s, and then God bless it. Somewhere around 40, it just stops. I think you get so tired, it just stops.
Okay, so only 15 more years for me to go.
There you go. But instead of talking about my own insomnia, I felt like asking. So after you wrote it, and what was the process of bringing other people in and turning it into a film?
So the first person that came on board was my producer, Virginia Blatter. And I'm so glad that we met, and I'm so glad that she said yes to the projects, because it was really my team that made all of this possible, and it was each of their unique contributions that made this what it was. And I'm proud that I had such a team of women. Like, there's women in all of the key positions, my producer, my director, my director of photography, my editor. And I felt like they were all able to really understand my vision for this, and they were able to bring it to life the way that I imagined it. And I think it turned out better than I even imagined it would, because of them. So Yes, Virginia was the first person to come on board, and we really carefully selected who we wanted um, on this team because uh, on the days of shooting, all I wanted to do was act. I wanted everything to be taken care of so that I could just do my one job, and I'm really happy that that is one day what ended up happening because everyone was so dedicated, and everyone did such an incredible job. So yes, it took us a couple of months to put it together. But I was very satisfied with the results at the end.
And you should be, and that is definitely, if you had decided I'm going to produce and direct this too, then
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And I mean, this is the first film that I ever wrote and created. So it was all new territory for me. So I'm very happy that I was able to find people who knew what they were doing, so that I could just bring ideas and they would find the methodology of how to get there. Flaminia, my director, I think she did such an incredible job because I felt like I gave her the story pieces. I gave her the initial script. I gave her all the elements that I wanted, and she was the thread that put it all together. Um, which I don't imagine that someone else would have done it the same way that she did. I think she brought um, a very niche director's touch to this.
yeah, I was sometimes I try to finish people saying she almost seemed like a nurturing director to me. Like
Yes,
I feel like you were nurtured in this project,
yes,
and
exactly.
sort of protected.
Yes, and I think it's because um, we all felt the sensitivity of the subject matter, and we wanted to treat it with respect. And I think that's where that comes from, and the fact that we worked together as a team, and we had this sort of familial bond going on during the time. So I'm glad that that nurture translates.
Excellent. Well, before we wrap up, it was nice you got to mention a lot of collaborators. Was there anyone you need to mention before we run? Anyone? Although you did get to mention quite a few of your collaborators.
Give me 1 second. I don't know where my Zoom window went. Something happened.
Ah, I can still see you, so that's one benefit of Zoom.
Oh, okay, fantastic. If you can see me, then that's all fine. Yes, of course. My entire team that did such an incredible job. Conrado, um, Flaminia, Virginia, Cara, Isabel, Pascal. Gabrielle did an incredible job with the lighting. Ratsu did an incredible job with editing, and uh, all of my technical crew were there for me the entire time as well. Um, I said from the beginning of this project that yeah, I wouldn't have been able to do it without my team. I had really the best team I could have asked for.
Well, that's great. That's great. Well, thank you for submitting it, and it's always a pleasure. I I was just going to ask from a festival point of view. Uh, was it hard to pick what category to enter because
Yes, I'm glad you asked
it's
me that.
funny, it's got a horror element, it's got a drama element.
Thank you for asking that. Yes, it was difficult because um, it is kind of it can fit into multiple genres. So I was asking myself, where should I submit this to? Where is it going to do the best? Because it's a horror, but there are definitely horror films that are much scarier than this. Is it going to get picked as a horror if it's not as scary as the festival would like it to be? Is it too dark to be a comedy? Is it um, too scary to be a drama? It was definitely a challenge to decide where to submit it to, but in the end, it ended up doing really well in horror festivals. It ended up doing really well in festivals that focused on sort of a midnight genre. an after dark type of genre. I was looking for festivals like that that had a specific nighttime theme. Um, I'm happy that it did so well in horror, because I never imagined myself making a horror film, and that has actually become a genre that I have worked in substantially since filming You Up, and it's nice to have a surprise like that in your career, to realize that you have a niche that you didn't realize you would have before. I'm really enjoying horror now. I just wrapped a short film this weekend, which is also horror, and I'm really enjoying it. So the festival circuit for sure has shown me a lot about You Up, and allowed me to discover things about the film that I didn't realize before.
Fantastic. Well, I think that wraps us up, where we've run into our time limit. But it was a pleasure. Thank you for submitting the film.
Thank you for selecting us. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
and
I'm
I
very excited.
look forward to seeing more from you in the future.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much.
Right. Thank you.
Thanks.